Ever wondered about the different types of tomatoes you can grow in your garden? Well, you're in for a treat. Today, we're embarking on a journey through the fascinating world of tomatoes. We'll explore a range of varieties, each with unique characteristics and benefits that make them a delightful addition to any garden. From the cherished heirlooms, rich in history and flavor, to the modern hybrids, bred for their disease resistance and productivity, there's a tomato for every gardener. We'll also delve into the intriguing world of determinate and indeterminate tomatoes, each offering distinct advantages and uses in the garden. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, understanding these varieties can help you choose the perfect tomatoes for your needs. So, ready to discover the fascinating world of tomatoes? Stay tuned. First off, let's dive into the classic debate, heirloom versus hybrid tomatoes. Heirloom tomatoes, the garden gems that they are, trace their lineage back to at least 50 years. These tomatoes are open-pollinated, meaning they're naturally pollinated, preserving their unique characteristics generation after generation. They're cherished for their rich, traditional flavor and the sheer diversity they bring to the table, or rather, the garden. Each variety has its own unique color, shape, and taste. However, they do have their quirks. Heirlooms can be a bit fussy, requiring more care and attention than their hybrid counterparts. They are also more susceptible to diseases and may not yield as heavily. On the other hand, we have hybrid tomatoes. These are the result of crossbreeding two different tomato varieties to create a new one that boasts the best traits of its parents. Hybrid tomatoes are often bred for disease resistance, uniformity, and high yield. They're the go-to choice for many gardeners looking for a reliable crop. But while they might be hardier than heirlooms, hybrids often sacrifice some flavor and variety for their robustness. So, how do you decide between the two? It all boils down to what you're looking for in your garden. If you're after a tomato full of old world flavor and don't mind a little extra care, heirlooms might be your best bet. But if you're seeking a high-yielding, disease-resistant variety, hybrids could be the way to go. But remember, it's not always about the yield or the ease of growth. The beauty of gardening lies in the diversity and the joy of nurturing a plant from seed to fruit. So why not try a bit of both? A mix of heirlooms for their delightful flavors and hybrids for their reliability could make your garden the envy of the neighborhood. So whether you're a fan of the traditional flavor of heirlooms or the disease resistance of hybrids, there's a tomato for you. Now that we've covered heirlooms and hybrids, let's explore another important distinction, determinate versus indeterminate tomatoes. Determinate and indeterminate might sound like terms straight out of a math textbook, but when it comes to tomatoes, they're all about how your plants grow and produce fruit. Determinate tomatoes, often referred to as bush tomatoes, grow to a certain height, typically 3 to 4 feet, and then stop. They bloom and set fruit all at once, giving you a single, large harvest. This makes them an excellent choice for gardeners who want to preserve their tomatoes by canning or making sauces. They're also a good fit for container gardening or small spaces, as they don't require as much staking or caging to support their growth. On the other hand, indeterminate tomatoes, also known as vining tomatoes, grow and produce fruit continuously until the first frost. These plants can reach heights of 6 feet or more and will keep you in a steady supply of fresh tomatoes all season long. They're perfect for those who enjoy daily fresh tomato salads or sandwiches. However, these tomatoes do require more space and support, so you'll need to invest in sturdy stakes or cages. But how do you choose between determinate and indeterminate varieties? It really comes down to your gardening goals and available space. If you're short on space or want a big batch of tomatoes for canning, determinate varieties might be your best bet. If you have more room and want a steady supply of fresh tomatoes, consider indeterminate varieties. Of course, you don't have to choose just one type. Many gardeners plant a mix of determinate and indeterminate tomatoes to enjoy the best of both worlds, a big early harvest, and a steady supply of fresh tomatoes throughout the season. Remember, determinate tomatoes are great for container gardening and one-time harvests, while indeterminates will keep you in tomatoes all season long. Now that we've got the basics down, how do you choose the right tomato for your garden? As you may have surmised, there isn't a one-size-fits-all answer to this question. The best tomato variety for your garden will depend on a number of factors, so let's delve into a few key considerations. First up, let's talk about climate. Tomatoes are sun-loving plants, so they generally fare best in warm, sunny conditions. However, different varieties have different tolerance levels for heat and cold. For instance, if you live in a region with a short growing season, early ripening varieties like Early Girl or Stupis could be your best bet. On the other hand, if you're in a hot, humid environment, heat-tolerant varieties such as Heatmaster or Solar Fire might be more up your alley. Next, consider the space you have available. If you're working with a spacious garden, you might opt for indeterminate varieties which continue to grow and produce fruit throughout the season. These plants can get quite large, so they'll need plenty of room to spread out. If space is at a premium, however, determinate varieties could be a better fit. These plants are more compact and stop growing once they set fruit, making them perfect for container gardening or small spaces. Now, let's talk taste. Tomatoes come in a rainbow of flavors, from sweet and fruity to tangy and acidic. If you're a fan of sweet tomatoes, cherry or grape varieties like Sun Gold or Sweet Million might tickle your taste buds. For a more classic, tangy tomato flavor, you might try a variety like Brandywine or Roma. And of course, your intended use for the tomatoes should play a role in your decision. If you're planning to make lots of sauces, you might want to choose a variety with a meaty texture and few seeds, like a San Marzano or Amish paste. If you're more into salads or snacking, a juicy cherry tomato might be just the ticket. Lastly, don't forget to experiment. Part of the fun of gardening is trying new things and discovering what works best for you. So don't be afraid to mix and match different varieties or to try something new each season. You might just stumble upon a new favorite. And remember, while it's important to choose varieties that are likely to thrive in your specific conditions, the most important factor is your own personal preference. Gardening should be a joy, not a chore. So choose the tomatoes that you're most excited to grow, care for, and eventually savor. In the end, the best tomato for your garden is the one that suits your needs and tastes the best. So go forth and choose your tomatoes with confidence, knowing that you're well equipped to make an informed decision. Happy gardening. And that wraps up our guide to mastering tomato varieties. We've journeyed together through the colorful and diverse world of tomatoes, from the classic heirlooms to the sturdy hybrids. We've discovered the unique characteristics and benefits of each type, understanding what makes each one special in its own right. We've also delved into the intricacies of determinate and indeterminate tomatoes, learning about their growth patterns and how they can best suit your gardening needs. Whether you're looking for a bountiful, one-time harvest or a steady supply of tomatoes throughout the season, we've got you covered. In our quest to help you select the best tomato varieties for your garden, we considered factors such as climate, space, and personal taste preferences. Remember, the best tomato is one that thrives in your garden and satisfies your palate. But beyond the knowledge and techniques, let's not forget the joy, satisfaction, and sense of accomplishment that gardening brings. The process of nurturing a seedling into a plant, watching it flower, then fruit, and finally savoring the fruits of your labor, that's the true essence of gardening. So, whether you're a seasoned farmer, a hobby gardener, or a beginner just getting your hands dirty, we hope this guide has shed light on the world of tomato varieties and inspired you to try something new in your garden. If you found this video valuable, we encourage you to engage with us. Like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Here at Farming Knowhow, we're committed to bringing you more informative and insightful gardening tips. And remember, the world of farming is vast and ever-evolving. There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to discover. So let's continue this journey together. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Farming Knowhow for more insightful gardening tips. Until next time, happy gardening.